Well, hello. This is Kathy of kathysright.com, and welcome. You are listening to us either on Spreaker, YouTube, Podcast Chasers, what's the other one? Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more. Today is yet another day of disarray in the United States of America. However, many are celebrating with sensitivity Juneteenth. Well, they will be celebrating without me, Black Kathy Hatch. Mostly because the way that I was raised, my mother celebrated it when she learned about it. She was a Democrat. My father refused to celebrate it. He was a libertarian, but he was up on his history. And the reason that he doesn't celebrate it, and he didn't while he was alive, and neither do I, is because he said, I will never, Kathy, celebrate being the last to know. And he showed me things, because things that have been erased in our present day history, they're not saying it on television. They're not talking about it on The View. But really, what we're celebrating is Black people in Texas, and I'm from Texas. We were the last to know. Other Blacks had been freed in other states. Not all, but others had. There were some Black slaves in Texas who did actually know. They just didn't share the information. And this has been proven. And my father showed me these things, and he showed me these letters, because these were the ones who could read and write. And back then, you have to understand, even the slaves who were in the know in other states, some of them were saying, where will we go? What will we do? How will we take care of ourselves? They'd listen to these slave masters saying, you don't know how to do anything. You don't have any property. What are you going to do without us? That was kind of how it went. So we're forgetting how manipulated the slave mentality was, how completely manipulated. And so, yes, there were people in Texas, and a few of them were Black, who did in fact know that slavery was over for over 2 years. And they didn't say anything. And so it kind of represents for me and for my father, betrayal by our own people in some cases. And it celebrates our ignorance for being so duped for so long. So I don't see a point in celebrating that. Now, if you want to talk about the day of the emancipation, that the day that was signed, let's celebrate that. But let's not celebrate how they took advantage of our ignorance. We're going to celebrate that now? I don't think so. It's like celebrating, some con artist just conned you out of some money, and you're going to celebrate the day you found out you were conned. I'm not doing it. So God bless you. If that's your holiday, go in peace. Loving and serving the Lord. June 19th, more than 2 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, Union soldiers landed in Galveston. They didn't just walk over the border like from Louisiana, Oklahoma. We have a lot of neighboring states. But no, they came around and with the boats, and they landed in Galveston with word that the Civil War had ended and Black people were now free. Those enslaved in Texas were among the last to know. So that is what we are celebrating today. God bless us all. Speaking of which, Black Lives Matter. The long-suffering Black Lives Matter. It's not confusing to most of us, but we see what's happening. We're not blind. We're not turning a blind eye. But no, they do not represent Black people or Black oppression. Black Lives Matter is fooling people. They're not about Black men at all. In fact, Black men are almost as low on their totem pole as white men. Because if you read their mission statement, or whatever they want to call it, on their website, you will find that is not their intention. They're just using this opportunity to create chaos and attention. And they are being used by others as well. Let me read something from their very website. You can check it out at blacklivesmatter.com. I'm reading an excerpt because it's very long. This is from them. We are guided by the fact that all Black lives matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status or location. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. We are self-reflexive and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift Black trans folk, especially Black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. Anywhere in there you guys see about Black men being oppressed by police? I'm not seeing it. And I'm not just reading the parts that say that. They never ever get to anything about Black men. It's really about transgender. It's about homosexuality. That is what they're about. Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with George Floyd. He was just a wonderful opportunity for them to come out of the streets. Everybody had been stuck in their homes for 3 months. And all of a sudden, it turned from a protest to riots. Conveniently delivered bricks to these places. No, you had a combination of people who were tired of being stuck in their houses, listening to the television. We're all being imprisoned in our own homes because of the pandemic. And then you get Black Lives Matter saying, we have to protest. Well, of course we're upset. I saw that murder. I think I would be upset at seeing anybody get murdered. But that was just murder. It was very interesting because nobody was wearing masks. And I remember during that moment in time in our pandemic, everybody was paranoid and scared to death, and we were all wearing masks. But none of the cops, including the ones that put them in the ambulance, none of them had on masks. So let's continue with Black Lives Matter mission statement. We build a space that affirms Black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. Very, very anti-male. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their context. We make our spaces family-friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice. So bring those kids to those rallies. Sounds real safe. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages, thanks Hillary, that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. You notice men are missing there again. Parents, maybe they're included in that. Okay, I'll follow. We foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual, unless he/she or they disclose otherwise. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Do you see? This is their mission statement. This is who they are. This is what they're about. They don't give a rat behind about Black men, let alone white men. Men are like the bad guy to Black Lives Matter, but they will utilize, Black men's problems to suit their own goals and get out of the house. They will. But what I'm saying is when I see people kneeling in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, it makes my stomach turn. Now, I don't have a problem with queer people. That's who they are. That's who they want to be. That's between them and God. But as for me and my life and my own, I'm a Christian. And as much as I can love a person but not love their sin, as a Christian, I am not going to be a part of promoting that sin, no matter what it is. I will not be a party of it. And so this is where I'm coming from. Why are all these white people kneeling in solidarity with Black Lives Matter? Why are people swallowing their pride? I saw this lady get on the side of the road, actually, a sidewalk, and this black guy was filming her, and he stopped her and said, I'm from Black Lives Matter, and my boss says I should ask you to kneel because of your white privilege and apologize or something to that effect. And she did. I was like, oh my gosh, she really did that on the sidewalk in broad daylight. And then he was telling her she had to apologize, and she was like, perplexed. She didn't know what to say. I just can't come up with the right words. And she was almost weepy-eyed. It was wimpy, and it was weak, and it was disgusting. I'm not getting on my knees for anybody but Jesus Christ. This is wrong. For mayors and police officers to think that they're making things better by getting on their knees with Black Lives Matter, they're not praying, that's for sure. And then for Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and a whole lot of them, to get on the floor with their African garb on, kente, I think it's called. They put those things around their necks, and they stayed there for, I don't know how long, but they stayed there for a while. So they got the photo op that they wanted. Photo ops, like the one that they criticized President Trump for holding the Bible. Well, I was holding the Bible just 5 minutes ago, so it's not a prop for me. So to me, they embody the white guilt travesty, which does nobody any good. It just makes white guilt makes white people feel better about themselves because they feel really bad about those poor Black people. And my heart just breaks for you, Black people. We don't need your pity. In fact, we don't even need your help. We need to mind your own business and let us mind our own business. You don't have to let us have anything. We will get it on our own. We are capable. We are capable. And when I see white guilt, it just makes me think of like Tarzan. On Tarzan movies, the African people, they were like completely autonomous. But when they had trouble, in swoops the white man, Tarzan, swinging on a vine or whatever he was swinging on, and all of a sudden he does that sound, that sound, and all the animals bend to his will, and they all do exactly what Tarzan wants them to do. Kind of sounds like environmentalism, like we're going to control the world. Like he had that power. And this is how I think a lot of people came to believe. I'm not saying just from that show. I'm just saying that was the mentality that came through after the civil rights, because before the civil rights, Blacks were very autonomous. We had our own everything. We had our own stores, our own banks, our own everything. We are capable. But then when they started having the government involvement in everything, which is one of the main reasons that I am a Republican, because I don't want the government involved in anything. Every time you put the government in something, everything gets screwed up and it becomes complete bureaucracy. We have to do this for ourselves. We, as Black people, cannot fix all white people. Like they can't fix us either. We have our own problems we need to fix. A lot of them. But we can't expect other people to fix things within our own selves or within our own communities that we aren't ready to fix ourselves. I'm not waiting for somebody to make a new law, because you can make a lot of laws. And no matter how many laws you make, you will never affect the human heart with a new law. If you want to change this society, you want to make this world a better place, change hearts. And the only way I know how to do that is through the work of Jesus Christ, the work that he did on the cross. And that work will last for all eternity. These laws that they put on the books for us now, they'll last till the next law comes along, next Supreme Court justice comes along. But you want to change things, you want to make things better for this country and for this world, change yourselves. Black, white, yellow, purple, indifferent, whatever you are. be the change that you want to see in the world. You want the world to be a less racist place? Then you don't be a racist. You can't control other people. Other people are going to think whatever they want. You can't force somebody to be something that you want them to be. They only have to do that voluntarily. They have to do that out of free will. Or else God would have just made us all nice people and we wouldn't need any laws at all. I think he kind of did that with Adam and Eve, but the rebellion of Eve. So I'm just going to finish with this. This is from Matthew chapter 4. The temptation of Jesus. Then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was hungry. The tempter approached and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become loaves of bread." He said in reply, "It is written, 'One does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God.'" Then the devil took him to the holy city and made him stand on a parapet of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, 'He will command his angels concerning you, and with their hands they will support you, lest you dash your foot against a stone.'" Jesus answered again, "Again it is written, 'You shall not put the Lord your God to the test.'" Then the devil took him up to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their magnificence. And he said to them, "All these I shall give to you, if you will prostrate yourself and worship me." At this Jesus said to him, "Get away, Satan. It is written, 'The Lord your God shall you worship, and him alone shall you serve.'" Then the devil left him. And behold, angels came and ministered to him. My friends, I leave you with that. Jesus is telling you, get off your knees to Satan. Don't do it. Get on your knees for God and God alone. You'll be all right. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Please subscribe. I'm very, very happy that you have listened to me today. I hope to be more joyful and more eventful in the future. It's just today was just one of those days that these things had to be said, and I apologize in advance if I've offended anyone, but I don't think I have. If I have, I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not, because I speak the truth. And one little rhyme I usually say to myself: say what you mean and mean what you say, and be woman enough to let the chips fall where they may. So there you go. God bless you all. I wish you peace. I wish you love. I pray for you. I pray for America. God bless America. God bless the U.S. of A., each and every one of us. And let us use our brains and see through the deceptions of the enemy. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Please subscribe. Bye.